Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, September the 30th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by wallstreettrading.com. If you have not been to the website yet, go check it out. Like I always say, there's a lot of free information on the site for you all out there that are looking for some more education, some more strategies and techniques. You can find that in our blog section. At the same time, you can watch our videos under the My Wall Street TV tab and find out more about our products and services and all the different good stuff we have going on over here. Aside from that, very interesting day today. Today is the last day of the month, so we will be trading the first candlestick for October, starting tomorrow, of course. And if you guys take a look at the monthly chart, notice how we close the monthly chart out with a topping tail, and we close it out with at the moment here showing that we have not been able to break above 170 for the past well, including this month, so 1, 2, 3, I would say 4 or past 5 months or so, because we had this little month back here where we spiked up towards that 170 and they sold it right here. That's 2, so 3, and this will be the 4th time this year we attempted to try to break out above, say, this towards this 170 area. We have not been able to, and now we got rejected back down. We're still holding the nice little key short-term moving averages on the monthly time frame, which is still showing there's still some momentum in the markets. You can take a look at the weekly chart and you see that we had this possible rising wedge in play from this low right here, and then where we're at right now, and then this key trend line that comes from the upward channel that we've been watching. All right, so this is going to be very interesting chart to see how that time frame plays out. But aside from that, let's go ahead and break down our daily charts here. Again, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and now it's time. We had the whole government shutdown fiasco that's taken place. If the government does not do nothing, we'll be shutting down in about 6 hours and 31 minutes, as it says on CNBC. Just so you guys know, some of the programs, none of the major programs will get shut down, but the non-essential programs will lose some funding or get shut down, but the essential ones will still be will still be getting funding, and those people will get paid, etc. So either way, the market actually held up pretty well today, considering the fact that we were down 15 handles and we didn't get any more selling pressure on the open. They flashed us down on the market open and they bought us back up, and then we had some decent selling pressure, some decent buying pressure, that came in right around 355, 358, that caused the markets to close pretty much off the lows. Not too far off the lows, but back up towards the upper part of the range for the day. So here we go. In any case, let's go ahead and break down this SPY chart. SPY closed at 168, closing down about 90 cents, a little over 0.5%. We caught some support right here at this 167.43 level, which comes from the gap down opening price we had back here on August the 15th. Okay, this candlestick right here. So if we start holding below 167.43 and we take out today's lows, then we'll be looking for some traction back down, I would say first towards 166.90 or so. That comes from this little pivot that we had right here. All right, and then we break below that level, then we'll be working off this candlesticks over here around 166 half, 166. So we'll see how that plays out. Make sure you take notice of the fact that we're below most of the key short-term moving averages. All right, we did close above one of the 50-day simple or exponential moving averages right here, that is. But the next moving averages on the docket here for support, if we were to move lower, would be the 100-day simple and exponential moving average around 166.15 and 165.24. The moving average at 166.15 is the simple. The moving average at 165.24 is the 100-day exponential. All right, those are the next moving averages up on the radar here if we were to continue selling. So we'll see how that plays out. The NASDAQ held up pretty decent today. You can see it, the triple Qs, they got a nice little bounce off that 20-day exponential and simple moving average, which also lined up with a little decent area of support. Remember, this whole congestion right here on 78 was prior resistance, and now it acted as support since we retested that area. Also lined up with double support from the moving average. Pretty good. Nice bounce back up in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ remains to be trading the strongest right now, along with the Russell trading pretty strong. Then the ones that aren't trading that strong, you have the S&P and the Dow Jones, but the Nasdaq and the Russell are trading pretty decent. And of course, those are like the growth indexes, right? A lot of high beta stocks and those indices there, so we have to keep a close eye on that. But either way, on the triple Qs, keep an eye on this little trend line right here. If we get back above 79 and hold, we can start making a move back up towards the highs. Again, the Nasdaq, I still think is an index that's going to have a lot of opportunity to come. So we'll see how that plays out. If you take a look at my proprietary channel analysis on the NQ channels here, you can see that we're trying to hold above this little range that I showed you guys before in one of my prior videos. Okay, from this little from the little range that we had right here from the channel. We're starting to hold above it. We actually came and back tested it right there a couple times. So we'll see how this plays out. I do like the triple Qs though. We could consolidate up here a bit more, and we'll still have this little trend line making higher lows and hopefully giving us a nice little momentum trade pretty soon. But again, everything can change overnight depending on how the market takes the whole government shutdown. If the government does shut down, or how the market reacts if they come up with the deal, and then we probably see some buyers trying to come in here and buy the market back up, which wouldn't be a bad thing at all. All right, but for the triple Qs, they look pretty good. Keep an eye on that key 79 level. All right, and then keep an eye on this key level that we made today around here, around 78, which gave us a nice bounce off those moving averages. IWM, which has been showing some relative strength as well, along with the Nasdaq compared to the other indices. Nice little bounce off the 20-day simple moving average or exponential moving average right here around 105 or 105 and some change. All right, also lines up prior resistance, now support here on this side. So they bought it up right in front of that 105 level, and now we have an opportunity to go back up towards the top, up here towards 107 half. If this is in fact the low that we made, the pivot low that we made right here. Okay, before we try to move back up. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, a lot of eyes and people are listening for what's going to take place tonight. And at the same time, the Russell 2000 still is in this nice little clean upward channel that's been in play right here. Okay, and then we still have all the support right here around 103 or so. So even if we do pull back a little bit, we still have a lot of decent support right here at 103. Remember, prior support, now resistance. We're back above it, so now support again. Key inflection level is 103.35 area or so. All right, let's take a look at that dollar chart. Hope you guys been watching my videos and sharing the videos about it. I've been talking about the weakness in the dollar, looking for the dollar to decline. They did buck the trend a little bit here. Once they broke this little downward channel, they ran it up back up towards this 82.50 level, which of course got rejected. A little bull trap there, and what do you know? Boom, 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 weakness. And now we look to be making our way back down towards the bottom of the broadening formation, or you could call it a megaphone pattern, however you want to call it. This is a nice pattern and gives you some good levels to work off of and some good targets to work off of here. We break below today's lows and we start really holding below this 80 level. We should see a move down towards 79, which I compared my analysis to a lot of other traders' analysis out there, and they also had that level as a target on it because it also lines up with all the support we have from back here in January to back here of last year December and back here last year October. All right, so that also lines up with a decent target for the bottom of that little broadening formation megaphone pattern. All right, let's take a look at that euro. If you guys been watching the videos, we've been bullish on the euro, and the euro, it broke out a little bit today. It had a nice little move off the lows. Again, you take a look at the chart here. This is my euro 50-minute chart. Little pattern right here. We broke over 135. Kind of looks similar to an inverse head and shoulders pattern. This thing didn't have a gap down, but in any case, they bought it over 135. They rallied it up, gave you a little pivot play right here, which is I traded a little bit of this action right here since I missed this morning move, since I was helping one of the traders on the desk. So I caught some action right here, but a lot of the meat and potatoes move happened right on the open around 8 o'clock or 8:15. Yeah, 8:15 of the Euro futures open, which is what I like to trade. And we'll see how this takes place. Obviously, the currencies are going to be in play a lot tonight once they find out the government's going to shut down or not. So if you're a currency trader or you like to trade the currency futures or anything of that nature, go ahead and make sure you take a look at the currencies tonight if they don't do anything with this government situation. But the euro looks strong. The dollar looks weak, as we can see. If you take a look at crude oil futures, they're hanging in there. They held above this nice support level we have around 102. At the same time, I just tweeted out on my Twitter account that the crude oil futures are pretty much at the back test area from the triangle breakout that we had on the weekly chart that took place back here in June. All right, you guys see the big triangle here? All right, well, we're right near the back test breakout level from this trend line. All right, so even if we chop around, for this week and form like a little bottoming candlestick or a possible little pause candlestick right here, expect crude oil maybe to try to catch a bid down here somewhere in this area in front of the back test trend line. And if we don't and we fall back in it, well, then this whole act, and we fall back in and we hold below it, below 100, I would say, then we have a chance to come back down towards 98, which was where the original breakout started right here. Okay. So in other words, keep an eye on some of these energy stocks. All right, and keep an eye on some of these stocks that get affected when crude oil catches a bid. Okay. Let's see what else I want to take at gold. So was pretty surprised gold was not up today. Right, figuring out the dollar got a nice little got some nice selling pressure. I thought gold would catch a bounce, but it didn't. And not that we traded it, but we do watch it on a day-to-day basis, of course. And gold looks like it's having trouble trying to break back over 1350. And right now it's developing a range between say 1365 or so and 1309. If we can get back inside of this little channel that we had from the breakdown that happened right here, and I actually did all this analysis because I was going to do a weekend review video for you guys, but I came into the office on Saturday and we had a little meetup group for our meetup.com Wall Street Trading South Florida group, and I was so burnt out I couldn't get a weekly video for you guys. So I'm gonna go through a lot of some of the analysis. I'm gonna go through a lot of the analysis today here for you all. But let's see, a range on the weekly on the daily chart of gold between 1370 and 1309. Let's keep an eye on this range. If we break back inside this channel, that would be bullish. If we continue to hold below it and then we start rolling over again, that would be bearish. And since we have all this key hardcore analysis and levels, we'll be ready for whichever move takes place and we'll have the levels to trade off of it. So make sure you tune into these videos and make sure you share these videos for us, folks. GDX, gold miners, they have not really been able to catch a bid. Actually, they did catch a little bit of a bid today. They had a nice little move off of the lows. But again, there's really nothing going on here. Big down move from this big expansion candle high. We took out the lows, and now we're forming a nice little sideways range here. This downward price movement, sideways action is usually indicative of a move lower, kind of like a little bear flag forming right here. But we'll see how it takes place, or how the outcome is. And if they do sell it off, we can sell off down. They can sell it off down here towards 24. We break below 24. We're looking at 23, and then the lows down here around 22. All right. Let's take a look at that VIX. Right, one thing that a lot of people did not talk about on Friday was the VIX. The VIX was up, I believe over 1.5%. If you take a look at the 15-minute chart, the VIX, or the 5-minute chart, let's go to that 15, or the 30-minute, better yet. Actually, let's go to a 20-day 15-minute chart. The VIX actually broke out of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I'm not sure if you guys can see it here, but if I take off the settings, I'm pretty sure you can see it much cleaner. But here you have your neckline around 1460. You have your left shoulder right here. You have your head. You have your right shoulder. You have the breakout. Notice how the VIX was up a lot on Friday, but the market did not really sell off that much. All right. If you take a look at the ES, right, the VIX rallied for most of the day. If you take a look at the action on the ES, we pretty much chopped around on Friday. We sold off a lot during the overnight session and going into the open, but then after that we traded sideways. We'd have thought that the VIX trading higher the whole day, would have allowed the markets to, pull back and start getting some fierce selling, but it didn't. That means they were holding the market up as this big money guys were buying protection. And then of course they marked the market lower Sunday night after hours or overnight when most of the retail guys and regular people that trade the opening session can't trade, and that's just how it goes. So you got to make sure you know what levels to work off of, what's going on, and what the different sectors and vehicles are doing. So even if you don't trade them, you can kind of get a sense of what's taking place. And what took place on Friday was they held the markets up and bought protection, and of course they got paid when they got the market down this morning. They covered that volatility, right? And that's what I see. That's what I see in the charts. What else here? So let's go ahead and talk about some stocks. Apple computers. Okay, all these stocks were up this morning, then they gapped down or they sold off. Not they didn't gap down. I mean, but they did gap down, but they sold off of those highs that they rallied to after the morning when the market got the bounce. and they gave a lot of that back. So Apple, which was up about 4% or so from the opening price, or was up pretty decent from the opening price. I'm not sure if it's 4%, but they're up about 4 points. It was not 4%. They're up about 4 points from the opening price. They gave all of that back. You can see Apple opened up at 477, hit a high of 481, and then guess what? It closed at 476, slightly below the opening. Amazon, let's see what Amazon's doing here. Amazon still hanging up here near the highs. If this thing could continue to hold above this 310 area and consolidate sideways, when the Nasdaq does end up catching a bid, this is Amazon's going to be a go-to stock. So keep this one in your radar. Some of these Chinese stocks have been pretty strong. Sohu has definitely been in play. Keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. All right, nice little pattern right here. All right, little cupping pattern, breaks out, rise up, gets rejected at 76 or so, pulls back, forms a higher pivot low, and then moves back up. Nice little candlestick today, could continue up tomorrow. Baidu, another strong name in the whole Chinese play here. Baidu looking for a breakout. See, its all-time highs on Baidu is up here around 165.96. Call it 166. This thing's trading at 155.18. The market does turn around and the technologies continue to kind of lead the way, show relative strength. Look for Baidu to start making its way back up towards those highs. So keep an eye on that name. CTRP, C-Trip, strong stock. All right, definitely a strong stock. It's making all-time highs again today. Continue to watch this name. There's momentum in this name. All right, take a look at the 60-minute chart. Gap down, they bought it up. Take a look at the 15. So it's pretty much a grind up today. If it could hold tomorrow above 58 and give us a nice little range to work off of tomorrow, this thing could potentially be looking for another nice explosive move. I know it's up near the highs, of course, but if you could find some entries intraday to continue to play this nice little trend, the strong trend that's in play right here, by all means, try to do so. But CTRP strong. Cena, surprised this one's not really catching a bid with the other Baidu and Sohu. It's trading sloppy. So obviously this is the one that they really don't like that much. But it's still trading in a decent range here, 76 and 88. Okay, a little 12-point range there. Keep an eye on it. Try to buy near the bottom. Try to sell it near the top until they break out of this range. Play it safe. As far as the heat map goes, I'm not seeing any sectors that stand out. The banks, they continued their weak to show weakness today. Goldman Sachs down 1%, JP Morgan down 1%. Nice little bounce off the lows, but again, these stocks are really just trading in a range here. I mean, Goldman Sachs have a nice little upward channel range like that, and they could come down a little bit more before they try to buy it. Wouldn't be surprised if Goldman Sachs tries to come down here towards 152. JP Morgan, of course, the bank that we told you guys to watch for a short sell action on it because it was showing relative weakness to the other banks in the markets during this little whole congestion right here, which was trying to form a nice little tight bull flag, but then of course it failed. They were in the news a lot, and then boom, they sold it off. And then of course this day they come out with some bad news about having to pay a loan back, or they're going to pay a fee to kind of get the DOJ off of their case, and I guess that's when everybody was looking for it to maybe roll back down, and then of course they bought it right back up, and now it's just slopping all over the place. So be careful with the financials. Um, I think you want to wait for them to come back down a little bit more before they get bought up. Bank of America, if you're looking to buy Bank of America, you want to see it at least try to stabilize back above 14 and then look for an entry above 14, because right now, if the long run holds below 14, the more likely it is to try to move back down towards this 13 area. So it is below the 100-day moving average, and it is below most of the key short-term moving averages. But aside from that, that's about it, folks. We'll have some more analysis tomorrow. Again, tonight, once we find out what happens with the federal government. All right, there'll be some more trades to take tomorrow. Have a great day, folks. Cheers.